you're better off pursuing the unrealistic path than you are pursuing the realistic one. Which you might be thinking that makes no sense. What are you talking about? Because realistic, by very nature of the word, implies that there's this higher likelihood or potential for success or completion, whereas unrealistic is the opposite. It's lower. But let's think about this a little differently, right? Think about the path you're currently on, the realistic path. If you're in school, maybe it's to become an accountant, a graphic designer, a software engineer, a banker, I don't know, whatever. Maybe you're in a 9 to 5 and the path moving forward looks like manager, director, or if you really enjoy the corporate climb, a C-suite executive. But the thing is, everyone is sort of, well, they are aware that these are the available options, paths moving forward, the realistic ones, because they're the ones that they see on a day-to-day basis, they hear about. So in that sense, let's put all of these people, the realistic people, in a room. Let's say there are 100 of them. 100 people, all being realistic, all fighting for that same singular spot. Your likelihood of attaining that singular spot is 1%. Okay, well, let's turn to the unrealistic room. The room that most of the people, if not all the people in the realistic room, have completely closed their minds off to even venturing into. The ones in the unrealistic room are the ones who said, screw it, I'm going to open the door, go in and see what happens. Lo and behold, there's only 10 people in the room pursuing the unrealistic path. One spot, 10 people, the likelihood is 10%. Your odds are already way more, quote unquote, realistic, right? If we're just thinking about percentages here. And let's not forget the fact that people will drop out. They'll leave the unrealistic room and shift on over to the realistic one, decreasing the odds for the realistic person. Now there's more people going for the same spot, and increasing the odds for the unrealistic person. Less people, one spot. And you might be thinking, Dennis, it's not that simple. And yeah, I agree. Because at the end of the day, you can't just sit on the ground with your eyes closed and expect to manifest your dreams or unrealistic path into reality. It's implied that you're doing the same thing that you would be pursuing the realistic path. You're putting in time, putting in effort towards something. And when it comes to being in the unrealistic room, that time, that effort you're putting in, you're putting towards creating this internal environment for yourself, right? Because ultimately, as we talked about, there's going to be every bit of pressure, allure in the world to drop out. You're going to see your peers, friends, all progressing on their realistic paths, right? Getting promotions, getting married, having kids, mortgages, and you might feel behind. You might feel this urge to give up, or maybe it just gets too hard. And that's where building this internal environment comes into play. Because if you're really, truly committed to your dreams, this unrealistic path of yours, then it's all about being able to forego and say no to these short-term gratification and goals and metrics that those on the realistic path utilize, because ultimately, when you're pursuing your dreams, when you're pursuing any sort of unrealistic path, it's all about who stays in the room the longest, who stays committed, who can consistently persist. And your ability to consistently persist, to continuously put in meaningful, intentional effort without burning out, without having to stop, is dependent on this internal environment. It's dependent on your mindset, your habits, your belief systems, and so forth. It means detaching yourself, as we said, from traditional metrics of success and instead going by your own. It means understanding that you're not in a rush because you're in this for the long haul. So there's no need to force things that don't need to be forced and risk that burnout. It means doing what is necessary for your well-being so you can show up each and every day to not only tackle the challenges unforeseen that you may encounter on this unrealistic path, because again, right, it is uncertain, it is the road less traveled, it's less clear what steps to take. But on top of navigating all of that, you need to be at your best each day in taking action, meaningful action, intentional action that will bring you closer towards your dream. It means laying a brick day by day in any shape or form that helps you build this foundation for your dream. Whether it's writing a draft, whether it's coming up with ideas, whether it's just taking a day of rest to allow yourself to rejuvenate for the days to come, all are bricks, all laid out continuously will build that foundation will build you closer to your dream. And when all is said and done, right, who knows in what time frame, it's not even a question of whether or not the quote unquote dream or the unrealistic path is achieved. It's more so about the journey and how you feel during it, right? Because at the end of the day, one room leads to regret. What if I had the courage to put myself in the room that is unrealistic, to pursue my dreams? Those in the other room will feel proud that they chose themselves and they left no stone unturned, no what ifs, and they're content. There's a big difference there, especially when it comes to that time when you reflect on how you lived your life. Because you only get one. You only get one. And at the end of the day, why not make it a little more exciting, a little more adventurous, and strive and put yourself in that unrealistic room and commit to it. Commit to yourself. Because when you do that, when you really know yourself, you know what you want in life, and you commit to that want, to commit to that dream, and you align yourself and all that is within your control to pursuing it, play your part, just let the rest unfold. Let the universe, whatever other forces can't explain, take care of the rest. So, I know what room I'm in. I know what room I'm staying in. And perhaps selfishly, I hope that you'll choose to join me in that one as well. So, with that, I hope you have a different perspective on being realistic or unrealistic, and ultimately decide for yourself which room you want to be in, what sort of life you want to live. So with that, thank you for your time. Appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.